Yes, I am in a rocking chair. First of all, what ayahuasca is a tea, it's a brew, and it's made out of the combination of two different plants. One of the plants acts as a monoamine oxidase inhibitor, while the other plant acts as the psychedelic, which is dimethyltryptamine. Now, the active ingredient in ayahuasca is dimethyltryptamine. The reason you have to take it with the MAOI is because dimethyltryptamine is not orally active, so you have to take an inhibitor to allow it to be orally active. Shrooms, or more accurately called psilocybin mushrooms, are a psychedelic fungi which grow all across the world. I would like to talk about these two psychoactive substances on a chemical level. If you look at these two molecules, dimethyltryptamine and psilocin, which is the active ingredient in psilocybin mushrooms, then you will see that they are extremely similar molecules. Psilocin is actually a more advanced, you could say, molecule than DMT. You don't need to prepare psilocybin mushrooms in any particular way to ingest them. You could just pick a mushroom, eat it, and start tripping. You could not just pick one of the various plants that contain DMT, brew it into a tea, and drink it and start tripping, because you need the monoamine oxidase inhibitors to make it orally active. What I primarily want to talk about in this video is the healing power of mushrooms versus the healing power of ayahuasca. There's a very real reason why people think that ayahuasca is more spiritual or more of a healing substance than psilocybin mushrooms. And that is because in order to undergo an ayahuasca ceremony, most people will fly to Peru. They'll fly to Ecuador. There's a lot of preparation that's involved. They have to go on a certain diet. They have to mentally and even sometimes in a monetary way prepare themselves to go on a trip. Like an actual physical trip and a mental trip. When you take, say, psilocybin mushrooms, in many countries, you can just go out in your backyard, well, not usually your backyard, but you can go out into some woods or into a field and pick some mushrooms off cow shit. Or you can just buy them from a drug dealer. You can't usually buy ayahuasca from a drug dealer. The set and setting are often more important than the psychedelic itself. You don't often see people going to a different country to have a mushroom trip. Whereas the set and setting for taking ayahuasca is one that's set up to be healing by nature. You're not only going out of your way and planning for this big vacation, well, this is not vacation, this big healing excursion, but you're also taking them under the guidance of a shaman. You're taking them in a ritualistic setting that is designed to help pull demons out of you, and I don't know, whatever the shamans say ayahuasca is for. I'm not trying to downplay ayahuasca here. I really do believe in ayahuasca as a healing medicine. I'm simply trying to point out why ayahuasca is viewed as more of a healing substance than psilocybin mushrooms, or any psychedelic for that matter. I strongly believe that if you were, say, to take LSD in the same healing setting with the shaman, going out of your way and really pumping up your set and setting for the experience, it could be just as, if not more healing than ayahuasca. I do believe that DMT and psilocybin mushrooms can produce very similar experiences, which I'm going to get into. Now, this is the subjective side of this video. Subjectively, I've tried ayahuasca, and I've tried psilocybin mushrooms, and I've tried smoked DMT, which is pretty much just taking the active ingredient DMT out of ayahuasca and having a very short, intense version of the elongated ayahuasca trip. When I've tried psilocybin mushrooms in high doses, I have gotten a ringing in my ears. I've felt like I was being pulled out of my body and extracted into a different dimension of being, which is a very common experience with taking ayahuasca. Often with ayahuasca, you have entity contact, you might close your eyes and feel yourself being taken somewhere else. You have communication with your subconscious. All of these things can happen on psilocybin mushrooms. I think the main reason why people tend to have more powerful ayahuasca ceremonies than they have mushroom trips, besides the set and setting aspect of it, is that they're just not taking enough mushrooms. I've seen on YouTube stories of people taking incredibly high doses of mushrooms. I'm talking plus 10 grams, even 20 grams of mushrooms, and having full out-of-body experiences, having contact with what they call their ancestors. Very similar stories to how people explain their ayahuasca trips, meaning the potential to have extremely spiritual and deep mushroom trips is there. We just don't often see people undergoing those experiences. Now, I'm not recommending that any of you guys watching this video go out and have a 10 to 20 gram mushroom trip. This should only be reserved for those who are extremely experienced psychonauts and who most definitely have a trip sitter. I've tried mushrooms, and even in the 4-gram range, if they are potent shrooms, can produce some very unexpectedly intense and challenging experiences. I have one video out called Suicidal Shroom Trip, which is a story of just that. So shrooms are not to be messed with. They're not to be fucked with in high doses unless you do have the experience there. Now, the funny thing is, you don't necessarily have to fly to Peru to take ayahuasca. Most people, well, depending on the laws in your country, don't quote me on this, but you can order many of the plants legally online. Even eBay holds them. Amazon, people sell them on Amazon. Like, the plants needed to make ayahuasca yourself are very easy to obtain if you want to. Now, again, I'm not suggesting anyone does this. Depending on the laws in your country, buying them with the purpose of consuming them could be seen as illegal. So don't go out and do this without first checking the legal status where you live. If you are going to consume ayahuasca on your own or with a shaman, one of the largest concerns and one of the reasons why I think psilocybin mushrooms are a better option is because ayahuasca has the potential to kill you. People have died from consuming ayahuasca. It's not the DMT that is harmful, it's the monoamine oxidase inhibitor. If you were to, say, combine ayahuasca with an SSRI medication, with amphetamine, with MDMA, it could cause serotonin syndrome, which can be lethal. So there have been cases of people taking ayahuasca while on antidepressants and dying. So in that regard, if you are going to consume ayahuasca, you have to be careful. To be clear, it's not the monoamine oxidase inhibitor or the ayahuasca on its own that's harmful. On its own, it can't do anything harmful to you. It's only once combined with one of the aforementioned substances that it has the potential to cause death. In terms of psilocybin mushrooms, you could combine psilocybin mushrooms with every substance I just listed, and you could be physically all right. My whole point with this video is the experiences are very similar. The visuals I've noticed can also be similar, albeit the visuals are different. I am not saying that the visuals on psilocybin mushrooms are identical to ayahuasca visuals. However, there are similarities in the visuals, as there's similarities in visuals with every tryptamine substance. I believe a lot of these tryptamine substances have the healing potential to take you just as deep as one another. It, again, all depends on your set and setting. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As for why I'm sitting in a rocking chair right now, I initially had another video planned that I was filming that was kind of like story time with Psych Substance, but after filming it I decided against the video. But I decided to stay in this rocking chair because it was comfortable. I want to let you guys know that I just released a video on my second channel called Life After Death, so if you guys want to hear more philosophical content from me, then check out that video there. I will include a link. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like. And if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel for weekly psychedelic-related content. I would also like to say a huge thank you to all of our supporters on Patreon. A massive shout out to everyone in this annotation right here. If you guys want to check out more and learn what Patreon is about, then visit the link to Patreon to do so. Till next time, take care everyone, be safe, and don't do anything that